Hey guys, how are y'all? Hope you guys are having an amazing day in the Lord. And today, guys, I am recording this video. I know it's very different from what I usually record in my channel, but as I was reading this book that was gifted to us this morning, and reading today's devotional, it really impacted me so much, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I know I have read this verse before many times, but today as I was reading the verse and reading the devotional, um it really made me think of a lot of things, and I wanted to share it with you guys because sometimes with our daily life or our daily actions, we really don't pay attention. And so we have to be very careful that everything we say, everything we do, as much as it might seem not bad, maybe we're not reflecting God. So we have to be very careful of, what we say and what we do every day. I will add that we are not perfect, but we should try every day to be better. That shouldn't be an excuse of, oh, well, I'm human. Oh, we're not perfect. I feel like sometimes we use those words to excuse our actions or our behavior. So I just wanted to share this because I myself been a victim per se of this, or I've been like maybe on the other side of the spectrum. So I just wanted to share that. Okay, I wanted to share this because it really hit me hard this morning. It really impacted my life in a very different way. And I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys. And the verse, for you guys that have never read it, or you guys can just go out there and get your Bibles, is Matthew 7:3. And right here, I'm just going to read it how it's in the devotional, and it's NLT, but you can do any version that you like. But I'm going to go ahead and read this one. And it says, "And why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own eye?" Okay, I'm sorry, in your own. So, sometimes we wanna focus or see other people's mistakes and maybe even like magnify them, right? And like be like, you did this wrong. But then when we make the mistake, we don't choose to see it, or we don't make it as big of a deal, right? So it was talking about, in a part of it, it said, choose to share those words that make the soul stronger. And in the Bible, it also says that our words that come out of our mouth should be to edify others. So as I was reading this, I was like, okay, this sounds very interesting. This sounds good, a Christian thing to do. But then you continue reading, and then it's when it's like, eye-opening, or how I said, sometimes you only choose to see what you want to see, right? But it continues by saying that whatever you're saying, whether it's to your pastor, to a friend, to your own kids, to anyone around you, right? You have to be careful, because sometimes you say certain things and you're like, oh, well, that is true. You say things that are true, but that doesn't mean that they have to be necessary. Okay, so let's say you know the truth about something or about someone. You don't just call them out to make a point. Not because it's true means that it's necessary or edifying. You know what I'm saying? So, like, let's say if somebody's making a mistake, me calling them on their mistake, whether or not it's true, doesn't make it right. So sometimes edifying a person is not calling them out on their mistake. So let's say we want someone to change or something. You don't go about just calling them out on their mistake and, oh, you did this, you did that. I think there's another way to whatever you're going to say. We have to be very careful of how we use our wording and when we use it and what it is that we're saying. Because not because it's true is necessary. Okay, not because it's true it means it's going to be helpful. not because it's true, it's gonna help or make a progress. Not because it's true, it's gonna help them spiritually or socially, or just, be something edifying. So we have to be careful, because sometimes we're like, oh, well, yeah, they're like, oh my gosh, why did you say that? That was so mean. Well, it's true. Yeah, well, that doesn't make it good, and that doesn't make it edifying. God calls us to speak to others to edify them, okay? Not to put them down, not to humiliate them, not to be rude to them or disrespectful. He's calling onto us to be of edification to their soul. And right here, what they use, it's to use words, share words that are going to make the soul stronger. So by me saying something to put someone down, it's not making their soul stronger. It's like just humiliating them or putting them down. So be very careful, because sometimes not because it's true means it's necessary, or not because it's true it means it's helpful. So it says to just choose your words wisely before you're going to speak. Be careful and make sure it's going to be something that's going to make their soul grow stronger, and it's going to edify their soul. It's going to edify their life so they can grow spiritually. And then it says when you're going to speak, is it giving glory to yourself or giving glory to God? So to me, it was like, wait, what does that mean? Like, why would that give glory to me? Well, yeah, when you're speaking and putting someone down and telling someone the truth, that's not giving glory to God, It's more like giving glory to yourself, as to like make you feel better, make you feel superior, or make you feel like, oh, I wouldn't do that. So every time you're going to speak, is it glorifying God? Whatever you're going to speak, whatever you're going to say, is it glorifying God? So it really impacted me, because I was like, wait, glorifying me? What does that mean? But then I was like, wow, it really like says something. Whenever I'm going to speak, before I speak, I'm going to think like, is this glorifying me, or is it glorifying God? Is this making God look better? Is it reflecting God, or is it just reflecting my own self? Is it reflecting my ignorance, So I was like, whoa, we have to be very, very careful when it comes to criticism or speaking about others, because sometimes also like we can speak like, no, you don't do this right and you don't do that right. Yet if we were in their shoes, we wouldn't be able to do it either, or we wouldn't do half as much as what they do, or half of what they do. And we have to be very, very careful. I should consider not saying another word until I've remembered that God is on the throne and not me. So it says, my fault finding shows that I'm all about me. Wow. So that's very crazy, because sometimes we want to point out fingers of the other person that's doing wrong. But is that my job? Is that my duty? Like, hello, I am not the one in the throne. God is, So we have to be very careful when it comes down to criticism or being judgmental. Like, I am not in the throne. God is. So before I speak again, or before I make a comment, it's like, okay, who is in the throne? Not me. God is. Okay, he's the one in charge. He's the one that says what goes, and sometimes we want to play God. And I'm not talking about like, trying to change the world or do all this stuff, but what I'm trying to say, like, we want to judge others as if we were God, as if we were so perfect, when it's literally telling you here in Matthew that why are you looking at other people's mistakes when maybe yours is way worse? So we have to be very, very careful there. And then it says, my fault finding shows that I'm all about me. So whenever you're judging people, whenever you want to find their faults and just, be judgmental about it, be very careful, because, it's not all about you. And when you're doing that, you're making it all about you. So it also hit me hard because lately I'm not exposed to people. I've been here with the whole quarantine situation and the whole COVID situation. So what happens that sometimes we can fall into this with our own members of our family, with our own household. I know that sometimes I could see certain things and I'm like talking to my husband or expect so much from my husband when I'm like, I probably won't be able to do half of what he does. Yeah, we could be judgmental of certain things. You know what I'm saying? I love I love my husband. Don't get me wrong, or don't think that I'm like, oh my gosh, judging everything he does. No, but like I've noticed that certain things I could be judgmental or be like, oh, like why are you doing it this way? Yet, if I was in his shoes, I probably wouldn't be able to do half of what he does. And with my child too, there can be some times where I can expect certain things of him when I was a child too. I was there too. And maybe I was not even as well behaved as he is, or maybe my actions would have been different at his age. You get me? Sometimes I could expect so much more different things from him when he is just a child. Don't get me wrong, it's not an excuse to misbehave. I'm not talking about him being misbehaving or anything. He's actually a very well behaved kid. But sometimes we can expect so many things when we ourselves were in that position or in that age. We were not even doing half of what they are now. Like I see him and I'm like, wow, like my kid is super advanced. He's super smart. I'm like, I don't think I did half of what he did at that age, you know? And I'm so amazed. But we have to be very careful because we can do this with our own household. You know, we could be judgmental without even thinking about it. Or, you know, sometimes I'm like, why is he crying for that? And I'm like, because you know what? For him, it is a big deal, or for him is something very important. You know, I'm talking about my child. And I'm like, maybe when I was a kid, I was crying for something even like crazy or like, I don't know, for something else, you know? So it can happen. It can happen in many different aspects in our lives in many different ways. This devotional really spoke to me in my household perspective. You know, like, I mean, it could happen with anyone. We could be judgmental to anyone out there. But I think right now that we've been at home, I realize like maybe I've been doing that myself. I'm at fault of that in my own household. Maybe I'm judgmental with the way like certain things my husband does when I wouldn't be able to do half of what he does. Or maybe I've done more mistakes, you know, or, you know, how I said with our kids, you know, and especially with our kids, being careful the words we choose with our kids, because that will shape them or could shape them for the rest of their life. When we speak onto them or when we're going to get after them, are we respecting them? Are we raising our voice to them, or are we talking to them properly? You know, how would God be with them? How am I reflecting God to my kids, you know? So the words I say, am I choosing them wisely? You know, are they gonna edify his soul? You might think, oh, well, they're little kids. No, but some of these kids would take your words for the rest of your life, for the rest of their life. I mean, think about you. If someone, when you were a child, a parent, told you something, I'm pretty sure you remember it till this day. So do you want them to remember, oh, I remember when my mom told me that I can do this, that she believes in me, that, you know, I can be good, to follow God. If we can reflect God into them, and when they grow up, they can reflect that light into others? Or are we giving them trash, basically, so when they grow up, they have that in their mind and they grow with that in their mind? So that's something that really hit me hard, where it says every time that I'm going to speak to my son now, I'm going to be trying so hard every time that I speak to him, even when I'm mad, because we all get mad sometimes, or we can be frustrated, doing the housework. I'm a housewife, so sometimes it could be overwhelming, trying to do many things at once. But my mind now is going to be set. I'm going to try as hard as I can, and I hope you guys at home do too, to be like, okay, whatever I'm going to say, is it edifying for him? Is it going to make his soul stronger? So if he's crying, you're not going to be like, oh, why are you crying? You're just always crying, blah, blah, blah. Not because it's true means it's edifying. Not because it's true means it's necessary. So be very careful to choose your worst, to choose your words wisely. And how I said, I'm mentioning my child, but my husband as well. When I'm going to speak to him, I have to be like, okay, whatever I'm going to say, is it going to be edifying for him? Am I going to make his soul stronger? So I just wanted to share with you guys that, because I know I used to read this verse before, and I would just implement it to other people, and I'd be very careful, like, okay, whatever I'm going to say to this person, is it edifying to them? Whatever I'm going to say to so-and-so, or the way I speak to so-and-so, or if I'm upset, like, think about before you speak. And I started really going by this verse towards other people. But today it hit me hard here in my household. Now that we're like in quarantine or like staying at home and stuff like that, it really made me take it to heart within my household, with my husband and my child. Now, I'm not saying, oh, I disrespect them and I'm getting after them and I'm humiliating them or putting them down. No, that's not the case. What I am saying is that we can make a mistake, that maybe we're frustrated or whatever. We could say certain things, not necessarily, disrespectful, but certain things that can mark our family members or a person in our household in a negative way. Again, if it's true, it doesn't mean that it's necessary. It doesn't mean it's edifying for the soul and it's making our soul stronger. So I decided to share this video because I really want to, encourage you guys to start being aware of what we say. Because sometimes we even say things that we don't think that are bad, or we don't think, but once we sit down, we'll be like, okay, maybe that was not necessary, like, why did I even make that comment? That was not even needed, So I want to encourage you guys that whenever you guys speak, think before you speak. Is this gonna make their soul stronger? Is this edifying for the soul? And if the answer is no, then there's no need for it. If the answer is no, you don't have to even speak about it, not even think about it, So I wanted to share that with you guys. If it's not edifying and if it's not making the soul stronger, don't share it, don't say it, don't even think about it. Now, the second thing I want you guys to take to heart and to your mind every single day, it says, is my fault finding showing all about me? Because it is. It is. It says, my fault finding shows that I'm all about me. Why? Because we're just thinking of everybody's faults but our own. And again, Matthew 7:3, it's talking about that. Stop looking at someone else's faults before you're looking into your own. And sometimes once we look into our own faults, ours are a little bit worse. So be careful there, okay? Be careful, because sometimes fault finding is all about you, not about God. And do not forget that the one sitting in the throne is God, not you, which means that we have to be very careful and not be judgmental. We are not God, okay? We are not God. I'm not the one to say who does or who doesn't, what goes or what doesn't go. What I am here to do is, help you to edify your soul, share the word, share God, and just reflect God in my actions. And before I end this video, I want to ask you 2 questions that make me think a lot. And I actually wrote, certain things in my notebook. And I want to ask you these questions. How are your criticism levels? You don't have to answer me or tell the whole world. Just think about it. How are your criticism levels? The second question is, what are they reflecting about your walk with God? That one I was like, a slap in the face, because we can feel like we're so spiritual. We can feel that we're so connected to God and we're in love with God. But are we truly reflecting God by our actions and our words? It says, what are they reflecting about your walk with God? So the way I speak unto others, the way I speak unto my husband, to my child, or maybe in your work, in your church, in your friend circle, the way I speak, what is it reflecting about my walk with God? So that really impacted me, because the way I speak to my child or my husband, it's going to reflect my walk with God. And trust me, I want my life to be an amazing reflection of God. So there's a lot of fixing I need to do. How I said that doesn't mean I disrespect my family or I humiliate them and all this stuff. No, I'm not saying that. But just certain words, guys, that we think that are not bad, we might not be edifying a soul. We might not be making a soul stronger. We might not be reflecting God at all. So before I end this video, just want to remind you, what are your words and actions reflecting? Are they reflecting you, or are they reflecting God? And well, that was all I wanted to share with you guys today. It really spoke to me, and I just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope it's something that helps you out through your day. I know it helped me out to just see things in a different perspective and grow in Christ, and try to be better in my everyday life. And I hope it helped you guys out. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye. Hey guys, as I was editing this video, I noticed something that I really want to point out and mention. And in 2 Timothy 3:16-17, we are allowed to use the word to exhort and reprove, whether it's members of our church, maybe someone in our family. But I just want to clarify that yes, we can use the Bible to do this, but we have to do it with respect, with grace, and with love. Okay? And I wanted to add this because I don't want there to be a confusion to what I said earlier of, if it's not because it's true, you have to say it, or not because it's true, you don't have to speak about it. So now I'm not saying that when someone's doing bad, oh, you're gonna look the other way and act like that doesn't exist, or just ignore it. No, I'm not saying that. What I was trying to say is that if you are gonna talk to someone, make sure it's to edify them. And this includes if you're gonna exhort or correct someone, okay? So I just want to clarify that, because I don't want you guys to think that when I say, even if it's true, it doesn't mean that you have to say it, okay? Because there is some truths, like if someone is doing something wrong or something that they're not supposed to, you can use the word to correct them. But again, if you're doing it out of love and out of care for the person, not out of something inside of you that says, oh, it's because you did wrong but I didn't, or because I'm better than you, or I wouldn't do it, So you have to just be careful that when we speak, it's for edification of that other person, Okay, so that's just what I wanted to add, because I don't want people to think that I'm saying, oh, just look the other way, ignore that situation. No. If you need to exhort someone, go ahead. If you need to reprehend someone, go ahead. If you need to do that, go ahead. But using the word of the Lord and doing it with love and with grace, and most importantly with respect to the other person. Okay, so I just wanted to add that. And again, how I did say, if it's truth, but if it's not necessary, don't do it. Okay? If you think it's necessary for you to correct that person, go ahead. But do it only out of love and grace that comes from the Lord, not from something within you and, from your own self, or just because you want to prove a point or humiliate someone, because that's not what God is calling us to do. Okay, so I just wanted to say that because I didn't want there to be any confusion. But again, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day, and see you guys in our next video. Bye.